Freedom Train by Junior Scholastic.
In the years before the Civil War, 1861 to 1865, thousands of slaves escaped from their masters. Most found freedom in the northern states or in Canada.
Many runaway slaves were held by the Underground Railroad, a secret network of trails and hiding places or stations that led out of the South to freedom. The people who guided slaves on their journey were known as conductors.
The most legendary of those conductors was Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery around 1820, she escaped but returned to the South to help others. She became known as Moses because she led her people out of slavery.
One night in 1848 on Maryland's eastern shore, Tubman and her family are talking.
It will take me forever to get $500.
To get $500 what?
Dollars. My master said that I can buy my freedom for $500, but I've been saving all my life and I've got only 22. There must be an easier way than this.
I hope you're not thinking of running off on the Underground Railroad.
Why not, Papa? Even a slave has two rights. One is to be free, the other is to die. If I can't have one, I'll have the other.
I've heard that right here in Maryland, the Underground Railroad has places where you can hide and get a hot meal.
Why is it called the Underground Railroad?
The way I hear it, one time a master was chasing a runaway slave. The slave disappeared so suddenly, the master said he must have gone an underground road.
How much does a ticket on this railroad cost?
The only ticket you need is black skin.
A few months later, Tubman runs away. She reaches the slave state of Delaware, where she knocks 3 times on the door of Thomas Garrett's house in Wilmington. When he answers,
You must be Harriet Tubman.
How did you know?
There's a reward for your capture. Quick, come in, you can't be seen here.
Garrett locks the door, then he swings a bookcase away from the wall and opens the door hidden behind it.
You'll be safe here. Only friends know about this room. Tell me, how did you find this station?
I followed the Choptank River. Mostly I walked in the water to throw off the dogs that the slave catchers were using to track me. Then I followed the North Star here to Wilmington. I found a Quaker who pointed out your house.
Well done. The Quakers are friends to our cause. You rest now. On Sunday, when the slave catchers are all in church, we'll ride in my carriage to the border of the free state of Pennsylvania. You'll have to walk from there to Philadelphia and find William Still. He's a free black man who's a leader of the Pennsylvania Anti-Slavery Society. He'll help you settle in.
A year has passed. Tubman and William Still are sitting in Still's office.
You seem restless, Harriet. What are you thinking?
I'm getting ready to go back to Maryland. I'm going to bring my family to the north.
Think twice before you go. Most of our conductors are white, or they're black people who have freedom papers. If you get caught down there, you're finished.
I have to go. I feel like Moses in the Bible. I've got to leave my people out of slavery.
Two days before Christmas in 1849, inside the Maryland cabin of Tubman's family. Do you hear that?
Yes, someone is singing out there in the woods.
That sounds like Harriet's voice, but it can't be.
Tubman is singing verses from a gospel song.
Go down, Moses, way down in Egypt's land.
It is Harriet. She's come back for us.
I'm bound for the promised land. Who's going with me?
She's telling us something.
I'm answering her.
When that old chariot comes, I'm going with you.
The family secretly meets Tubman at midnight in the slave cemetery.
It's good to see you, Harriet.
Harriet, if you're planning to take us up north, leave your ma and me out of it.
Yes, we're too old to go anywhere. We've been living in that cabin for 50 years. We don't own it, but it's our home.
I won't force you. Not this time. I'm leaving tomorrow night. Now who wants to come?
3 of us. William, Marianne, and me.
Good. Round up any others who want to join us. Just make sure no masters find out.
Two days later, Tubman and 11 runaway slaves are hiding in a swamp.
The tall grass is good to hide in. We'll stay here till dark. Then go to a station. We're soaked from walking through this swamp.
I'm freezing and it's starting to snow.
Keep your voices down. Slave catchers are all around and voices carry in these marshes. How are we supposed to sleep here in the snow? Huddle close to each other. Make a bed and covers with grass and reeds.
I'm going to make a fire. I've got to warm up.
No fire. Slave catchers would see that and find us for sure.
I want to go back.
No one goes back. I'll shoot anyone who tries. The slave catchers would question you and be able to track down the rest of us. It's freedom or death.
Later that same day, Tubman knocks 3 times on the back door of a Quaker's house in Wilmington.
Quick, take this broom and get busy sweeping the porch.
Minutes later, 2 slave catchers leave the house.
Have a pleasant journey.
Thank you, ma'am. Remember, if you see a pack of runaway slaves, get word to us. There's reward on their head.
That was close. You can't stay here. Another slave catcher is upstairs sleeping. I couldn't refuse them lodging, or they might suspect the truth, that this house is part of the Underground Railroad.
But we need your help. There are 12 of us hiding out in the swamp.
My husband will find you when it's safe. Now go.
The next morning, the woman's husband drives his wagon to the Pennsylvania-Delaware border. Tubman, disguised as a man, sits beside him.
I found you in that swamp just in time. The slave catchers were getting close.
And we were getting pretty hungry. And cold, too.
Well, here we are.
Everybody out. This is the Pennsylvania border.
Tubman jumps down and opens a hidden door in the bottom of the wagon. The other escapees scramble out.
It sure was crowded in there. All of us squeezed in. I'm free.
I can't believe it. I'm free. I'm free.
A year later, in 1850, Tubman visits William Still.
Congress has passed a new Fugitive Slave Act. Now runaway slaves caught here in the North can be taken back to the South to their former masters. That's going to make our work a lot more difficult.
That's why hundreds of escaped slaves living in the northern states are now fleeing to Canada.
The Underground Railroad will have to go to Canada too.
We have no choice.
It'll be a greater risk for you. If you're caught, you'll be taken back to Maryland in chains. Maybe it's time for you to quit.
Quit? I've just begun.
There's a huge reward on your head. They're offering $10,000 for your capture.
Makes no difference. I'm determined to keep on leading my people up from slavery.
Over a 10-year period, Harriet Tubman made at least 19 trips to the south and north again, rescuing more than 300 slaves. The reward for her capture rose to $40,000, a gigantic sum in those days, but she was never caught. She died in 1913, still free, in Auburn, New York.
This has been a Westfield Middle School media literacy production of Freedom Train, published by Junior Scholastic and History Plays, November 2017.